everyone, Stephanie Dimon from the Dimon Homestead, and today I need to tackle these tomatoes. There are so many tomatoes on my table right now and I don't want them to go to waste. And one of you guys a while back sent me an awesome recipe for authentic Italian spaghetti sauce. I cannot wait to try it. So I've made spaghetti sauce in the past and it was pretty good. But she claims that this is like better than anything she's ever had, like ever. And it went along with a pretty cool mafia story. So I can't wait to try it. Anna, this one's for you. Thank you so much for sending it to me. And yeah, so I'm gonna tackle some of these tomatoes with a homemade tomato sauce. this recipe is like, it takes 6 hours to cook. So I'm gonna start now. It's like midday, so we're gonna be cooking all day, probably well into the evening. And depending on how much we get, it would be awesome if I could can this too to save it and preserve it. So I'm probably gonna double the recipe because I think it calls for like 25 tomatoes, but I've got well over that here. So I think I can double it easy, and let's get to it. All right, so first things first, you need 1.5 pecks of tomatoes. A peck, with a quick Google search for tomatoes, said it was about 17 baseball-sized tomatoes. So I'm just gonna round it to about 25 for 1.5, and then I kind of doubled it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it because some of these are small, some of these are large. I mean, some of these are huge. So I'm going to just kind of just play it by ear. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna basically cut off the tops and just clean them up just a touch, because I am going to boil these down. It calls to put these all in a pot, and it says cook till soft and then strain, boiled 1.5 hours. And then we're gonna add in the spices and the extra stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna follow the instructions. I'm just gonna cut off some of the tops and things and some of the the bad spots on some of these tomatoes that, like, you know, if they look kind of questionable, I'll just kind of cut those out, or soft spots or something. I just want to double check and make sure. But yeah, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna clean these all up, put them in my pot, and then put them on the stove to boil and soften. Now, while that's going on, I'm gonna go outside and gather all my herbs that I can prepare while that's softening. Check that out. I did add a few more because I just wanted to, I don't know, fill it a little bit more with some ripe ones that we had. And gosh, some of these are just absolutely gorgeous. They look like watermelons almost. They just have, these are the beefsteaks. Here are some of the Cherokee purples that I've cut up and cubed. But yeah, I just kind of cut these up. We've got some Romas in here. Cut some up, and we'll see, and we'll just cook this down. This just says boil until soft and then strain and then cook for 1.5 hours. So instructions a little unclear. I don't know if it meant to cook this like this for 1.5 hours and then strain, or just until soft, strain, and then cook the tomato juices down for an additional 1.5 hours. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna just mash this almost, like once it starts to cook down, I'm gonna mash it with the masher, cook it till soft, strain it, and then whatever's left, cook that down for additional 1.5 hours, and then add the rest of the ingredients. We'll just try it out. All right, my tomatoes are cooking down nicely. I haven't strained them just yet, but they are starting to come to a simmer. And I'm just using my meat chopper here to kind of just break down some of these larger chunks to help extract all of the flesh and the juices and everything. So starting to heat up. Probably another, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I might be able to strain it then. But while that is working, I'm going to work on the spice bag. This spice bag calls for whole cloves of garlic, whole allspice, thyme, oregano, parsley, cinnamon bark, basil leaves, bay leaves, salt and pepper. So because I'm doubling it, I don't know, I have some cheesecloth and some twine that I'm gonna make this spice bag with, but right now I'm just gonna put it on this bowl, and then I'll know how big of a bag I need to make. Now, one thing it didn't say was, it did not say if these were fresh herbs or dried herbs. I am leaning towards dry just because the amounts are kind of small for fresh. So dried herbs are going to have a more strong flavor than fresh herbs. So I do have all of these ingredients dried. However, I went ahead and picked some fresh from my garden. So I've got some parsley and some thyme and some oregano fresh from my herb garden. And I think I'm gonna do a mix. Because I'm doubling this batch, I think I can kind of play around with it in that way, and I'll do some fresh herbs and some dried herbs. So for now, I'm just gonna add in, I kind of cheated and I got already peeled garlic cloves. So I'm gonna add in these. Cloves of garlic are going in. Now I'm gonna add in some whole spice, so some whole allspice. This is calling for 12, so I'm gonna need 24. Let's see. So I got 12 whole allspice, half a teaspoon of thyme. So I'm going to do half a teaspoon dried thyme. And then I'll probably do like a full teaspoon fresh. I've got a good chicken bucket going over here for my chickens with all the scraps, tomato scraps and herb scraps. And then it calls for half a teaspoon of marjoram, or also known as oregano. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll do half a teaspoon dried oregano, and then I will do a full teaspoon of the fresh. Okay, there goes the oregano. Now we need 1 tablespoon of parsley. Okay, and then we need 8 to 10 basil leaves. So I do have some dried basil here. Okay, we need 1 small piece of cinnamon bark. So I do have these little cinnamon sticks, and 1 small piece of cinnamon bark. I don't know what 1 small piece means, but these are pretty small. These are not as big as I've seen before, so I'm just gonna put one of those in there. Okay, and then 5 bay leaves. So the recipe calls for 5 bay leaves. I put in 10 in mine. Then we need salt and pepper to taste, or 3 tablespoons salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. I'll probably add that straight to my pot because I don't know if it's going to stay in my little bag that I'm going to make for my my seasonings here. So, okay, I have some cooking twine here in a roll, and then I've just got some cheesecloth, and this is what I'm gonna make my bag out of. This is my spices here, what's gonna go in my spice bag. And let's see, how much do I think I need? All right, there we go. We've made our spice bag. Pretty cool. So we will just set this to the side and wait. Smells good. Okay, now we can go ahead and move on to our next step. Let me stir this real quick. Okay, now that we've got our spice bag made, I'm going to prep the next step while my tomatoes are continuing to soften. The next step calls for 7 cups of chopped onions, 8 finely chopped pieces of garlic, clove, salt, and then you cook them in 3/4 cups of oil until golden. And then what happens is you add it into your tomato juice after it's strained, and you cook that down for 4 hours together. So I need to double this because we are doubling everything today. So I'm going to need 14 cups of chopped onions and 16 cloves of garlic, minced or chopped small pieces. And then it just says salt. So I guess just salt to taste. But let me start doing that. I'm going to need a bigger bowl. I have this pretty cool thing. My sister-in-law was using it I said the other day. It was like years ago. She was chopping potatoes like for breakfast in this little thing. And it comes with all these different like attachments, like different sizes. You can grate things. And I was like, yeah, I need that. So I'm going to just use this to help me today to chop 14 cups of onions. I think I might cry. I don't know. That's a lot of onions. I don't have any bubble gum. Last time someone said to Buddy on one of his cooking episodes to keep a wet paper towel nearby. The onions are like drawn to moisture or something. So I'm just gonna put a soaking wet paper towel down by my chopping board. Buddy tried chewing bubble gum. He claimed it worked, but I don't know. $14 cups of onions. I can tell you the wet paper towel method did not work and the bubblegum method did not work, and I am currently trying to keep my eyes open as I talk to you. So now we're gonna do 16 cloves of garlic in small pieces. So I've got my garlic press here. I'm just going to press these cloves into my bowl. All right, I've got probably more than 16 cloves of garlic. I really like garlic. So may have added a couple more. Some of them are really small pieces too. So, I'm now going to, in my pot here, add in some oil. Didn't specify which kind of oil, just said 3/4 cups of oil. So I'm going to double it. And this step says 7 cups chopped onions, 8 cloves garlic in small pieces, salt, cook till golden, and 3/4 cups of oil. Okay, and then we did the spice bag already. And then we cook everything together for 4 hours. So I'm going to cook this until golden. While this is cooking, I'm going to strain out my tomatoes from the peels and everything, add it back into the pot. By now, this has been cooking for probably an hour or so. So, well, at the beginning I talked about maybe just cooking them till they were soft and then boiling for an hour and a half, the juice. But honestly, I think by the end of the day, by the end of this whole process, this is going to have already been boiling in here for an hour and a half with skins and everything. So I don't know that it matters too much. But we will add these onions to this stock pot and get these going. I'm gonna add it, I'm gonna do this kind of slowly because I don't wanna. Just going to stir this all around to coat everything in the oil. Okay, straining this is going to be fun. I'm going to have my largest bowl here that I just have my onions in, so I'm just going to strain. I'm just going to strain right into this. Let me get my strainer. I might have to strain in batches because I'm going to be utilizing every single bowl I have in this house, I think. The onions are starting to turn clear, like a clear color, translucent. So I'm just stirring these ever so often to make sure that they're not burning on the bottom. And they're looking good. I just strained all of the seeds and the pulp basically from these tomatoes. And this entire bowl is tomato juice from those tomatoes. So I'm gonna pour it back into this pot. Woo! Actually, I'm gonna slowly pour this because there are a few seeds that made it through and I don't really want a whole lot of seeds. Oh, kids are home.
Oh, God. So decent. It was Disney. We watched a lot of roller coasters that was about, so I think, was about
No, so what?
We learned so much about this. So much about birthday today.
It is, and I got her a birthday present for y'all to give to her.
Yeah. Wait. Did we give it to her right now?
Yeah, I was waiting for you guys to get home.
Mom, tell me now.
Can you just...
It's the birthday. It's the birthday. It's the birthday.
All right.
Okay.
Kaden, Your girlfriend's mom didn't call me.
I don't know why. Jazz said she was at work though.
Maybe she'll call me later tonight.
Maybe she will.
What movie are y'all thinking?
Don't show it!
Carter wanted to see Fast and Furious.
Okay, well, if they're not, then one parent will be there.
You?
Maybe.
Or not?
Mama's here.
Busy. All right.
Done it before.
Happy birthday, Luna. Happy birthday to Luna. Luna's 3 years old today. She gets a special treat. But I didn't want to leave out Kanga, so I got Kanga something too. Does it smell good?
Bro, ate like a pizza.
I know. Okay, kids are home now from school, and let me just show you what we've got going on in the pot. I am bringing the tomato juices back to a boil, and the onions, garlic, and olive oil are also simmering. I'm gonna hopefully get this to turn brown, and then once I get this brown or golden, then I will add it to this, and then I'm going to add in my spice bag that we made and cook it for at least 4 hours on simmer. So we've got a ways to go, but I think the hard part is over now. And while all this starts to cook, I will be doing dishes. So keep you updated. Okay, so this has taken a lot longer than expected because I had so many onions in this pot. It's hard to believe how many onions has reduced down to this, to the bottom of the pot. I'm gonna call it golden because that is what the recipe says. Cook till golden. So I believe that they are golden. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to add this in to my tomato sauce that's simmering over here. And then I'm going to add in my salt because I did not add in the salt to my salt bag. I'm going to add it directly into the tomato juice here. The spice bag called for 3 tablespoons of salt plus 1 to taste, and then 1 teaspoon of pepper.
It looks really bubbly.
Yeah, it's simmering. It's basically reducing it down so that it's kind of losing a lot of the extra water, and then it's going to just become thicker and more.
Tomato juice.
Yes, it is tomato juice.
Oh, that's so strong.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and add this in now. And we are doubling, so technically I guess I could do 6 tablespoons of salt, but maybe I'll just do 5 for now and see how I like it. I would rather kind of undersalt than oversalt. These were kind of heaping anyway.
That's 4.
Oh, it's 4? Oh, thanks for counting.
Add 1 more.
Oh, okay.
2 plus 3 is 5.
Okay. So I got the salt in there. Let me go ahead and do the pepper. Good counting, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna mix all the pepper and salt in the tomato juice. And now let's go ahead and add our onions, our brown onions, our golden brown onions.
I'm gonna move. There's a little bit of steam coming out, but
Man, these look so good.
like, ooh, can't get me.
Okay. Last thing to add is our spice bag. y'all. So I am surprised because the last time I made spaghetti sauce, I added I think sugar, some brown sugar to combat the acidity. I think maybe carrot or bell pepper, but it didn't call for any of that, which is fine with me. This seems very like a very basic spaghetti sauce recipe, and I'm good with that. I'm good with basic. But I'm gonna cook this down. I'm gonna allow this to cook for 4 hours. Probably a lot longer than, it's probably been cooking a lot longer than normal already because I started this like 4 hours ago. But it just took the onions so long to brown. So I may not cook it all the way for 4 hours. I don't know. I'm just gonna look at it. I'm just gonna gauge it and see. But I wanna give everything an opportunity to really cook with the spice bag and infuse those flavors. So we'll see. I might be stirring this at 9 o'clock at night. Buddy, come smell this. Yeah. Oh, wow. Did you tie a string around it?
Yeah.
That's cute. So this is gonna cook now for 4 hours.
Ugh. Oh, it smells like meatballs.
Oh my gosh.
It smells like meatballs.
Doesn't it smell good?
So good.
It smells like meatballs.
So good.
I want to show them my new apron now.
Laura manufactured her own apron with my
Towel.
and a string around it. I guess we need to get you an apron, huh?
Homemade apron. Homemade apron.
Homemade apron. Okay, it is 7:30. And it's dinner time. This has reduced down a whole lot. It is looking really good. I've tasted it. It tastes really good. I made some ground beef and some pasta and some garlic bread, and we're about to try this right now. Connor, who does not like red sauce. He only likes butter noodles, which whenever I was his age, I was the exact same way. He only likes butter noodles, but he agreed that he would try some pasta with meat sauce in a little bowl, right? Right, a little bite.
I heard it.
Okay, get the bowl.
There you go.
I just want to let y'all know that I've been working on this for 7.5 hours.
That's quite a long time.
7.5 hours. I left them separate so that I can make butter noodles for you if you didn't like.
Really?
You didn't like the sauce, yes.
Yay!
Did it just for you.
Heal everyone that has gone through bad things in their past, and just amen. Amen.
Amen.
I just thought of random stuff.
That's okay. It's a good prayer.
I was already eating my bread before.
This is delicious.
I haven't even tried it yet. Bro, I can't even pick it. There we go. Mmm. Hot. Mmm. Mmm.
I think it's good.
Mmm.
It's such a very simple, easy recipe with very few, I feel, ingredients. Absolutely no water, just onions, tomatoes, some seasonings. Yeah.
Onions. I don't like it anymore. I'm just kidding.
Can't change your mind after.
But it's very good. Very good. And I'll be canning whatever is left over. So we'll have homemade, I think they call it tomato gravy in Italy or something.
Mom, you're gonna make me. You're gonna make so much things homemade from the garden.
Well, I'm gonna call this a win.
10 out of 10.
So thank you for joining me today with my double batch of homemade spaghetti sauce. And I will catch you on the next one.